Hi there, this is Emma from the Lebanon Public Library. Today I want to talk to you about our November Craft After Dark class, which we are really excited about, and that is a felt pumpkin bunting in the shape of different types of pie. So the first thing you're going to want to do if you want to participate in this craft is stop by the library and get one of our Craft After Dark kits. You can pick this up anytime that we're open, which is Monday through Thursday from noon to 6 and Saturdays from noon to 5. You can also request one for curbside hold. Just give us a call and ask us if we still have them in stock. It is first come, first serve though, so you want to get on that so that you can participate in this really cool craft idea. So today I'm going to walk you through what's in the kit. We're going to walk through the instructions a little bit, and I'm going to show you a couple of the techniques that we use in the kit to help you make your pumpkin pie bunting. So once you have each of the pieces cut out from your template, you're going to want to gather all of your materials. That includes all of the things in the kit, but you're also going to need one glue gun with glue sticks and a nice sharp pair of scissors. You can even consider having a smaller pair of snipping scissors that are very, very sharp if that helps you cut. It's all about what's going to make this easiest for you. One fun trick that we talk about in the instruction booklet is maybe doing something with a pair of serrated pinking shears so that you get that cute kind of homemade pie vibe. So following the instructions, I'm going to walk you through each of the different kind of pies that we're going to assemble. First we'll do the cherry, then we'll do the pumpkin, and then we'll do the blueberry. So following the instructions, you're going to use your template to cut out the pieces for each of your pie. So the instructions lay it out and tell you how much with each template you're going to need. So for instance, using the lower crust template base, you're going to need to make 5 cuts in tan and then 2 in the blue felt. So in the end, you'll have 7 different pieces of lower crust, 5 in the tan color and 2 in the blue. So you're going to go down through the instructions and follow each of the cutting instructions so that you have each of your pieces cut out before you start assembling. So using these pieces, 1 lower crust, 1 upper crust, 4 lattice pieces, and 3 peanuts, we're going to start assembling our cherry pie. So the first step in the instruction is to layer the red upper crust on top of the tan lower crust. Then we're going to take our string and glue it into the center. So a good way to find the center is to fold your string in half and then make sure that that center line is centered on the pie. And what you're going to do is place the string down and then take your hot glue gun, do a nice zigzag of glue all the way across, and then press down your cherry pie right on top so that they stay nice and sandwiched together. If you forget this step, you can glue your string to the back of the pie as well. I just think it's nice and snug and secure if you sandwich them in between. So from there, we're going to take 2 lattice pieces and place them diagonally across the red filling. So there's 1 and there's 2. And you can see you're going to have a lot of excess that you'll be able to trim later. Next, we're going to take 2 more lattice pieces and place them going in the other directions. So there's 1, and then there's 2. So here is where you get to do a little bit of budging. So you are essentially making 2 X's that you're going to weave into one another, but you want to get it just the way that you like it. So I'm going to futz a little bit and get these squished down just to where I want them. And then I'm going to weave them in. So when we weave in, we go over, under, over. You're not going to have a lot of weave in on this size of a project, but if you can get a little bit, it'll make it look a little bit fancier. So there we go. And there's my pie. So the next thing that I'm going to do is once I've got everything the way that I want them, I'm going to trim it down. If you're having trouble and things are moving around, they're getting a little bit squished while you're trying to trim, you can take 2 little fabric pins and just clip them down so that you can hold it in place while you trim. I'm gonna do it without the pins and just trim it right up to the edge of the red felt where the cherry pie is. You see, trim, trim. Whoop. Try not to lift up too much. And then I'm gonna give this a little rotate so it's easier for me to get at. And once again, nice little trim, nice little trim. Perfect. Get all those little excess pieces away. So you've got your lattice crust here, and if you want to take a little bit and do one last little bit of lattice along the bottom, you can. It's up to you. You want this pie to look just the way that you want it to look. So you're going to hot glue all of this down. So I lift up and glue, and then lift up and glue, and try to just get glue under all the places where it might pull apart. That way it stays nice and secure when it's hanging above your mantle or wherever else you want your pie to hang. The last step is to take some of my peanuts. I call them peanuts because that's what I think they look like, but it's just a felt squishy shape that when you layer it onto one another makes for a very nice little crust piece. So you want to get it to the edge and a little bit over, because we know that swirly, swishy crust always goes just a little bit over the edge. And there we have the crust of our pie. So everything gets glued down, and this forms the center of our pumpkin pie bunting. So there's only one cherry pie. So once you get this just how you want, then you're done with cherry pies. And next, we'll move on to the pumpkin pies. So the next slices that we're going to work on are our pumpkin pie slices. So you will have two of these positioned on either side of the cherry pie in the center. In order to make this slice, you'll need one lower crust, one filling, one puff ball, and one ruffle piece. So to start out fairly simply, we're going to layer the filling piece on top of the crust. If you want to do this centered, that's great. If you want to do it off-centered a little bit so that it looks almost three-dimensional, that's great too. It's in between you and your happy little piece of pie, how you want to do it. So once you have that done, you're going to take your ruffle piece and do a soft little accordion fold. An accordion fold is where you fold back and forth. So here you're going to see, I'm just going to do these little tucks, holding it in place as I go, spreading all the way across the upper part of my pie. This is another place where if you are having trouble keeping things in place, you may consider wanting pins, but it is not necessary. Once you have it all the way across, you're going to glue down the tucks. Now one tip is I find that if I curve it up just a little bit, it looks a little bit more like a nice piece of pie crust. So we are going to take our hot glue gun and do little bits of glue right in between each of the tucks. And if you are having trouble with lots of little strings of glue, which does happen, I say don't worry about it, because you're going to be able to pick those off later. There we go. Now you can see it's starting to come together a little bit more easily. And whoop, that one came apart. So we just need to give it a good press. There we go. Give them a good press to keep them together. Make sure that glue adheres well. And here is our last one. A little bit of glue right into the center. There we go. So now we have our ruffle glued together and roughly. Make sure you don't burn your fingers as well. This is important, folks. You can pick off some of the strings so that it looks a little bit tidier. Here we go. Give it a good press, a little bit of pressure. And then we are going to glue it directly to our pie. So I like to tuck the ends in just a little bit to round it off, make it feel a little bit tidier, but you certainly don't have to. And we're just going to do a nice line of glue all the way across the top of the pie and press our ruffle down onto that glue. There we go. We're looking good. It's pressed down. Give your glue time to set. Then you can go in and start to tuck and make it look as nice as you want and trim. There we are. And the final step is to put a little bit of glue on and put a puff ball right down the middle for a good chunk of whipped cream on top of your pumpkin pie. So there is your pumpkin pie slice. So while you're doing this, when you are adhering the pie down to the crust, this is another good opportunity to snake in that line of string. So right where you want it, put it in there, give it a good press, and you will have a piece of pumpkin pie added to your bunting. So the next piece of pie that we're going to do is the blueberry pie, and you will have 2 slices of blueberry pie at the far ends of your bunting. So in order to make the blueberry pie, you need a blue lower crust, a tan lower crust, and 5 circle crusts. So in order to start, we're going to take our little petal template, that's the little one shaped like a teardrop, and we're going to place it on our pie, and we are going to trace some designs. So you want to leave yourself enough room for your upper crust when that comes. So we're going to make it towards the center of the pie. You're going to trace it once. And you can do this in a pencil, in a felt marker, in whatever you want. And you do not have to do a petal design either. If your family, for instance, just does slashes, or maybe you've always done little leaves on your pies, you can do whatever type of crust design you want. I just like the petal, and it's nice and easy to do. So I'm doing 3 of them here, because that's how my pies always look. I'm tracing all the way around the petal design, straight onto the tan felt, and you can see this one didn't trace very well, so I'm just going to go over that one more time to make it nice and easy to see. Here we go. Now we're looking a little better. Okay, so I've got 3 petals, and I'm going to take my nice sharp snipping scissors and I'm going to cut out those petals. So I want essentially to have some holes in the top of my crust. So I'm going to make a snip right into the center of one of those petals, and then I'm going to use that to make it easier to cut all the way around. And you really get this as close as you can. It's okay if it's not perfect. Pies never look quite the way we want them to when they come out of the oven, but we always enjoy them anyway. So once again, I'm gonna snip and cut my way around. It doesn't necessarily have to be symmetrical. It just has to look the way that you want your pie to look. So there is the second, and now I'll do the third here. Snip, and then work my way around. We're doing okay here. And then just a little bit of trimming to get it even. Okay, so you can't quite tell, maybe you can tell in some places, but I didn't cut all the way out of the pencil marks. So my cutting was not super accurate, so you can still kind of see the pencil marks. So all I'm gonna do is just flip it over so the pencil marks are gonna be on the downside. So I'm going to, there we go, I'll face it at you. Take my pie slice and layer the tan crust right on top of the blue, looking very nice. I'm going to take my glue gun and glue this all down using my string to sandwich in between. One thing to keep in mind when you're gluing is try not to glue where your holes are going to be, because otherwise you'll have bubbles of glue coming out and it's not going to look as nice. If you leave that center area and just kind of go an outline around, you're going to have a tidier looking pie. So the last step is I'm going to take my circle crusts and I am just going to layer them on top of one another. And let's see, I think I can squish them in a little bit tighter to get all 5 pieces down. There we go. Squish around until you get it how you like it. Push it up. And once again, I think it looks nice curved out just a little bit, just like that. So you've got your piece of pie. You can get it just the way you like it. And then you can take your hot glue gun and glue the whole thing down. And that is how you make your blueberry pie slice. So now you have all of your pie slices and we can start making it look just the way we want it to. So there you have it. This is what your completed bunting is going to look like. You have your cherry pie at the center, pumpkin pies, and then blueberry pies. So you can stop by the library, come get a kit, give us a call, see if we've got some in stock still. They're going to go quickly, but we recommend stopping by, grabbing a craft kit, and getting ready to celebrate the Thanksgiving season. Thank you, and you all have a good day. Bye-bye.